artists, how's it going? Welcome back. I hope you are doing well, and I hope that you are safe and at home, and if you are not at home, then I hope that you are safe still as well and healthy as much as you can be. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. I am basically on a little challenge called 30 Days, 30 Faces from the Sktchy app. Now, that is Sktchy without the E. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. It was just something that I signed up for back in April, and they had this $30 class featuring a new portrait every day. Every 7 days, I'm going to be focusing and reflecting on the last 7 days of portraits that I've been doing. Let's just go ahead and dive right in, and I'm going to tell you something about this right away, is that it has stretched me out of my comfort zone. All I can say is that if you have the chance to take, this particular class at some point in time in the future, please sign up, because you will be uncomfortable at some points in time, but you're also going to learn a lot. I've just learned a lot in the last 7 days, just so much that I'll reflect on later. Day one was a 5, 10 minute, and 15-minute sketch of the same model, and it had been a long time since I had done something like that, probably since college, and I used to do it in figure drawing, but I had never really done it, a whole lot of that with portraits and the face itself. So this has been one of those things that, whenever I first heard it, I was like, oh crap, I'm under a lot of stress from the idea of it. And then I just kind of calmed down and said, okay, let's just get it done, get it over with. I found my 10-minute sketch to be probably of the most likeness of all of the sketches, but really it wasn't so much about the likeness or getting the likeness. I don't think it was just what you can do within that time frame. So if you have a chance to do that for yourself or challenge yourself with another friend that's an artist as well, I definitely recommend it. It's an interesting exercise to do. Day two was an interesting kind of ink and vertical line shadowing. I had so much fun drawing him. His face was so friendly, and I really just enjoyed the smile and the contour and kind of getting a chance to really focus on drawing somebody that was smiling. In my own work, I haven't done a lot of that. I've done a lot more serious portraiture and serious illustrations. I think I might actually get farther into that and kind of work on my expression skills too. I actually kind of made a big boo-boo during this one. It was like I lost my mind about 3/4 of the way through whenever I started to draw some of the vertical shadowing, and it was like all of a sudden I'm drawing lines down his face where there should be highlights and I should be leaving the page white, and I'm like, what the hell is my problem, and so I had to go back over it with some acrylic and gouache. And keep in mind, this was a drawing pad, this was not a mixed media pad. That's my fault. But yeah, it turned out fine though. I actually wanted to use the Arteza Inkonic. I used a couple of pens from that set. It was a kind of a navy pen and then kind of a maroon pen. It lended itself to warm and cool shadows that I hadn't done before in a while, and I really liked the end result of that one. And day three, actually, it wildly intimidated me whenever I saw this photo of this wonderful woman, Lindsay, and her cat. And you'll see it's like the entire portrait, like the cat, her clothes and stuff, and I thought, oh my gosh, I was like, and I was kind of just stressing out a little bit. And then I watched the video and I watched the tutorial and what the instructor was saying about it, and it actually ended up being probably one of the most enjoyable experiences of the week, because I broke out my water-soluble graphite, and partially because I'm impatient with graphite sometimes, and I knew it was going to be a detailed sketch. I was happy with how the fabric turned out and the folds, and I was happy with her expression and for the most part the likeness of it. But I think what I really enjoyed about it was the process, and getting back into that medium was extremely rewarding, and it was just a fun portrait to do, and she has a lot of character, and so does her cat. So day four. Okay, day four. How do I describe it? First off, I didn't like it. It was day four. Oh my god, day four. Okay. It wasn't my favorite. It was kind of a strange portrait in terms of lighting and the expression, and maybe not so much the expression, but the way everything was framed. And the principle of the lesson itself was to draw an initial line, never stopping for the frame of the face, and basically to map this out and make it a blob kind of, and without any real respect to the structure of a face, and then be able to kind of shade it in with whatever medium you choose, an ink or marker or whatever. I went with marker and a little bit of ink, but I felt like it was beneficial in some ways to be outside of my comfort zone, like way outside my comfort zone, but then I just didn't really enjoy it. But day 5 was kind of back a little bit more on par of what I'm used to. It was kind of a portrait that focused on the hair and the ears, and I want to actually go back and do more detail with it, detail work. I think this one was interesting because there was some focus on the structure of the face, but I realized that a lot of my proportions were off, and I became okay with that. It was okay. I really liked the idea of kind of leaving some of the hair in the highlighted areas white to just let the paper kind of explain it. Sometimes it's okay to just kind of, use that as an exercise to kind of leave some of that stuff out and just be happy with what you have created in the long run. So day 6 was a left-handed friendly approach, and I really enjoyed that because I'm left-handed and graphite tends to smudge whenever you're left-handed. However, it was also focusing on making the sketch kind of general and then going back in, shading it with the colored pencil, and then going over it with a watercolor wash of like a warm brown and an indigo. So I decided to choose the colors sepia and indigo. And then I just decided to make a very, very light wash for the cheeks. And that was in quinacridone rose and scarlet, and that was with a White Nights watercolor. And I really, really enjoyed this one because I love the outcome of it, and it was a lot of fun to create. And for the first time we were working with watercolor, and I love the results of watercolor and how quickly you can get yourself to kind of make things work with watercolor. Day 7. Okay, day 7 was day 7 was probably the most unstructured of lessons, and it's something that kind of combined all these things that I had learned in the week all together. And we were basically given this portrait, and we started with a certain feature, and then we worked on the very next shading part, instead of like going, okay, well, her nose relates to her eyes in this way, and the structure of it again. And it was completely unstructured. It was like, don't worry about, it was kind of as the instructor put it, a meditative way of hatching and kind of letting go of your end result, seeing what just happens. And we did want values in them, so lighter pressure for lighter areas of the face and darker pressure for shadows and everything, but not really worried about how everything's relating to everything else. And he even said it's going to be kind of wonky probably, and indeed mine was wonky and very wonky, but I think it was probably one of the most beneficial exercises of the whole group because it did combine all these things that I learned during the week. And one of the most important things I learned was not to be a slave to your portrait, not to be a slave to your reference photo. And that's, in my brain as an artist, ridiculous because I have trained myself through the Andrew Loomis method to focus on structure and balance and likeness, and so this just completely threw it out the window. But I like the idea of letting myself off the hook a little bit because I don't do that usually whenever it comes to my portraits. So I do love that, and it kind of has freed me up a little bit. And learning to look at a portrait in a different way, because you see these instructors and what they do, and sometimes they're doing it free-handed. They're not doing it with any like preliminary sketches or anything. And my cat just knocked over the food. Really, all these exercises are about the journey and the creation, not the final product, not the destination. And that may sound corny, but it's completely true, and it's completely healthy. It feels healthy to get and liberating to do this. So I'm really excited for the rest of the month. And there's more than one way to create a portrait, and we weren't necessarily restricted to one specific medium. We could do it on our own, but we all kind of stayed within the same range, I think, of mediums, whether it was dry or wet or whatever. It's so much fun to see all the results and to be a part of something, and especially in this time. this keeps us occupied. It really does. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will enjoy the rest of this series, and that maybe I'll even see you in the next 30 Days, 30 Faces. I think they do it every several months. I'm not real sure. You'll want to download the app though. It is free and you can join the community. And so I hope to see you next time, folks. Hit the subscribe button if you would like more art-related content, if you love tutorials, tips, vlogs, fun, all kinds of mediums, whatever it is that you like, it's art-related, okay? Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay inspired, keep creating, stay inside, stay healthy. Okay, see you later. Oh, you guys, I recorded 8 minutes of this and then realized that I didn't have my Rode microphone on. Hello, how are you? Okay, so let's get in focus. Am I in focus? Am I in focus? Are we in focus? Okay, hello. I'd like to be in focus. Thank you. This is kind of why I like doing voiceovers. I mean, I do like being in front of the camera, but sometimes the voiceovers are so convenient. I don't have to get out of my pajamas to do voiceovers. My name is Jane, and I'm going to be talking to you today about staying in focus. If this is like my second take and I seem a little jumbled, well, you'll know why. Anyways, I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna take a deep breath, stop, and would you just focus? It's treating you well. My name's Jane. Hello, I am the channel creator here. Iconic, kind of like iconic, but I used a couple of, and so I think I might actually like delve into, get farther. Please stay in focus!